The Chicago Bears have once again found themselves in the middle of a major NFL rumor, this time involving superstar pass rusher Micah Parsons, who has reportedly requested a trade following stalled contract negotiations with the Dallas Cowboys. Anytime a player of Parsons' caliber becomes even remotely available, fan bases across the league start dreaming of blockbuster trades. For Bears fans, the idea of pairing Parsons with Montez Sweat on the edges is certainly enticing. On paper, that kind of pass rushing duo would be a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks and could instantly elevate Chicago's defense to one of the best in the league. However, before we get caught up in the excitement, it's important to take a step back and consider whether this trade makes sense for the Bears right now. Many fans still remember the massive 2018 trade for Khalil Mack when Chicago gave up 2 first-round picks, a third-rounder, and a sixth-rounder to acquire the All-Pro pass rusher. That move gave the Bears a short-term defensive boost, but ultimately limited their draft capital and financial flexibility for years. A deal for Parsons would likely be even more expensive. Some proposed trade packages suggest Chicago would have to part ways with 2 future first-round picks, a second-round pick, Montez Sweat, and an additional conditional pick. While Parsons is a phenomenal talent, emptying the franchise's resources for one player could backfire in a big way. General Manager Ryan Poles has taken a measured approach to roster building, focusing on sustainable growth rather than splashy, win-now moves. The Bears are still at least a year away from being legitimate Super Bowl contenders. While they have playoff aspirations for this season, mortgaging the future for Parsons could jeopardize long-term success. Another factor to consider is whether Dallas would even entertain such a trade. League insiders, including Diana Russini, have stated that the Cowboys have no plans to trade Parsons, despite his public frustrations with negotiations. Parsons himself posted on social media expressing displeasure with contract talks and how the team has handled certain situations, but star players have made similar comments before only to eventually sign long-term deals. When looking at the big picture, the Bears' best move may be to stay the course. Poles has already built a strong foundation through smart drafting and calculated free agent signings. Sacrificing future first-round picks and an established player like Sweat for Parsons might create short-term buzz, but it could hurt the team's ability to sustain success in the long run. Instead of fixating on Parsons, it's worth recognizing that the Bears already have the pieces to build a formidable pass rush under new defensive coordinator Dennis Allen. Allen's scheme emphasizes generating pressure from multiple positions and creating confusion for opposing offensive lines. This approach is far different from the team's previous defensive philosophy and relies heavily on versatility and disguise. The interior defensive line is particularly promising, anchored by Grady Jarrett, Gervin Dexter, Andrew Billings, and rookie Shamar Turner. Jarrett, a proven veteran, has made an immediate impact during training camp. Reports out of camp describe him as being disruptive in one-on-one drills, with safety Jaquan Brisker even praising his energy and trash talk, which has helped set the tone for the defense. Jarrett's leadership and experience provide a valuable presence for a young, talented unit. Allen plans to use creative alignments, including tilted and loaded fronts, to exploit weaknesses in opposing offensive lines. Players like Deo Odeyingbo and Montez Sweat will not be limited to traditional roles. They'll frequently move across the line to create favorable matchups. Even Dexter, primarily a defensive tackle, has been conditioning with the defensive ends, suggesting he could take on an expanded role that takes advantage of his athleticism. Before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. The Bears' signing of Jarrett has proven to be a smart move. While some national outlets question the 3-year deal, the contract structure allows the team to move on after 2 seasons with minimal dead money. This low-risk, high-reward addition gives Chicago both production and leadership up front. Jarrett, combined with young talents like Dexter and Turner, creates a defensive interior that can collapse pockets and disrupt plays without relying solely on edge rushers. Allen's defensive philosophy is clear. Success up front won't depend on a single superstar. Instead, it will come from depth, versatility, and creativity. This approach minimizes the need for a Parsons-level pass rusher and aligns perfectly with Pohl's strategy of building a deep, sustainable roster. While the Bears' defensive line is shaping up to be one of the team's strongest units, there are still some concerns. Rookie second-round pick Shamar Turner recently sustained an ankle injury that could keep him out for the rest of the offseason and possibly even Week 1. Turner, a highly touted defensive tackle from Texas A&M, was expected to contribute immediately as a versatile interior lineman capable of playing multiple roles. Despite this setback, the Bears still have impressive depth. With players like Dexter, Jarrett, Billings, and Odeyingbo, the team is well positioned to absorb Turner's absence early in the season. Turner's injury is concerning, but it shouldn't derail the team's defensive plans. Allen's scheme is built to maximize every player's versatility, ensuring that no single injury will cripple the unit's effectiveness. The Bears' defensive strategy under Allen represents a significant shift from past seasons. The new system will utilize disguise and post-snap adjustments, forcing opposing quarterbacks to react to unexpected looks. This flexibility requires defenders who can line up in multiple spots, creating confusion and mismatches. While Parsons would undoubtedly make the defense even more dangerous, the reality is that the Cowboys are unlikely to trade him, and the cost would be astronomical. The Bears are better off continuing to develop their young core, maximize the talent already on the roster, and keep future draft capital intact. There's also another name worth monitoring, Trey Hendrickson, a proven pass rusher currently with the Cincinnati Bengals. Contract talks with Hendrickson have reportedly stalled, and while a trade for him would be far less costly than for Parsons, the Bears must still be careful not to overpay. Pohl's focus has consistently been on long-term success over short-term headlines, and that approach has already helped the team improve dramatically over the past 2 off-seasons. As exciting as trade rumors can be, the Bears are in a position where smart, patient roster building is more valuable than flashy moves. The foundation of the team is strong with a young quarterback, talented skill players, and a defense that's steadily improving. Adding Parsons might create headlines, but the long-term cost could outweigh the short-term gain. The Bears have the pieces to succeed under Dennis Allen's innovative defensive scheme without mortgaging their future. With Jarrett, Dexter, Sweat, and others leading the way, Chicago already has the tools to field a disruptive defense that can pressure quarterbacks from multiple spots. Bears fans should feel optimistic about the direction of this franchise. The team is close to turning the corner, but staying disciplined is key. Rather than chasing splashy trades, the Bears should continue focusing on development, depth, and smart roster management. The future is bright in Chicago, and while it's fun to imagine Parsons in navy and orange, the best path forward is to trust the process that Poles and the coaching staff have put in place. The pieces are coming together, and with continued growth, this team could be poised for sustained success, built the right way. Bear down, Chicago!